Hi, it's me, Nifty, and this time I raided, well, it's not technically a raid, but I broke into the Violent Bastards clan's base. One of their bases is Snakeballs, and I'm not entirely sure if Neptune owned this one or not. Why did I end up picking this clan to break into? It's quite simple. They didn't live too far from my base, and second of all, one day I was just taking a scenic drive in my truck, and then it started getting fired at. Thanks to Discord, I found out that that person was Snakeballs shooting at me. I decided I would pay his base a little visit, but when I went there, he logged in, so I decided to break into this one instead, which was just down the road from his, that must belong to one of his clan members. I never had confirmation that this base belonged to a player called Neptune, so it may or may not belong to that player. So once I cracked the locks to get in, I had a good look around. I didn't take anything, as I was going to give these two, let's say the Neptune and Snakeballs, a veggie delivery instead of raiding them. I mostly just wanted to break in and see their loot. So that's what I did. I'd broke in here, I've scoped it out, and now it's time to break into Snakeball's base. Snakeballs have built a huge base on top of, I think it's a school maybe, and I decided that I wanted to hide my car next to this tree, but it kind of got stuck, so that didn't work, and I had to chop the tree down. Then my car can't really stay here because it's not hidden, and I hid it elsewhere before I began my break-in on his base. So, playing alone, my friends have pretty much left the server. They're on another one, our Livonia map. And I knew I'd break in downstairs last, and my goal was to break in up here. And how was I going to do it? Pretty much the same way I did it all season. I was going to crack his locks. So if I died, I died, and that's just part of the game. I was conscious to see if they were in town, or if there was shooting in town, and then if there was, I would usually run for my life. It took me a good couple of days, 2 or 3 days I think, to break into this space completely. And that's because the town is very active with players shooting, and I didn't want to be here when that was happening, as I was PvE and I don't shoot back. And the second reason was because either Snakeballs himself or his clan kept logging in, and I was worried that I would get killed, so I just kept running away. The first lock took me a little while, but this one did not.
I got it!
Just had a feeling. Beautiful views. Next minute I'm going to get sniped on here. Okay, I've got to get through. This was the third lock upstairs to get through. Unfortunately, when I was here, Snakeballs logged in, and I decided to run for my life. There was two things stopping me instantly. One was this lock, and next was the first lock. I don't know where he was. He could have been at this base or somewhere else. But either way, if he logs in, he will shoot. I will die. I won't be shooting back. So I just wanted to try and get out of here as quickly as possible, knowing that if he isn't here or doesn't see me or doesn't hear me, I can come back another time. I thought about jumping off the edge, but I have this thing about, like, I always break my bones. So I thought, nope, I'll go back down the scaffolding. Then I thought I should hide in this shed. Then I had that thought that bullets can go through walls, so I hid in this shed instead, hoping he still hadn't seen me. When I felt that the coast was clear and hadn't seen or heard anything for a while, I returned. I only had a couple of really simple goals. One was to get a complete break-in, to know all the locks to this base, and I already had the other base's locks codes. The second part was to pull off a veggie delivery without being killed. Getting killed, it's not so much about dying or losing my loot. For me, it was that they would change the lock codes, or I risked them being changed, And I may have to go drive for hours again, getting the veggies, bringing them back in the crates. It ended up being nighttime when I cracked that lock off. And unfortunately, I died. I ran into town and the zombies got me. I had no night vision. So, this was going to take longer than I thought. And here I was as a freshie, filling up a car, getting ready to go back again. This car was like cursed. See, I just kept crashing. I could not catch a break with this Olga. For some reason, I could not turn. I had this lag. Yep. And of course, it like jammed like that on a rock wall. So on foot I was, which turned out not to be so bad after all. I ended up running past a base that I'd raided a few days before with some friends. We did an actual raid where I didn't crack locks. It was just a legit raid, which I'll post another video about soon. I think someone else was raiding it, as that blue truck and this truck had moved and neither of those were in those locations. I ended up scoring like Lars and stuff, and once I got the fruit and veg ready, I drove it back in my truck, ready to deliver to SNAKESBALLS base. And here's my crates of veggies from CaptiaNifty. This bit's so slow. If I had played the whole thing, we'd be here for hours. So I have to cut it for you. I don't think raids always have to be toxic. Sometimes they can just be a bit of fun. You know, I had enough loot at the time. So I ended up not taking anything at all from either of these bases. It was more just about having fun and pulling this little stunt off. Once I had the truck full and the veggies there ready for delivery, I also filled up this black car again, and this was to go to, I'm going to call it Neptune's base. This was for the delivery to go there. I wanted to make sure people can't get into other players' bases when I break in. So I usually would walk the crates to the bottom, open one lock only, bring the crates inside that lock, lock it up, and then walk the crates through to the second lock and then lock that behind me also, just in case someone was behind me. This way they would still have other layers to get through of bases if I was followed. So I had 5 crates here for this base to deliver. Once this was done, I couldn't be bothered unlocking it, so I just jumped off the side and I began my way back to SNAKESBALLS base to finish his delivery. Sometimes I get this alien arm carrying crates. I don't know how to stop that. It doesn't always happen. This was one of the most nerve-wracking bases that I break into, mostly because these guys are PvP completely, so if you're caught here, you're dead. And I didn't want to die before I had this mission done, so I was trying to do everything in little stages together. I wanted to leave a crate behind every door that I had unlocked so that they could see where I'd been in the base. I'd also brought all these crates back, even though I'd cracked that final lock, because it was nighttime. I'd never actually checked out his loot, so I was keen to do that as well. So I bring my crate through and then I go have a snoop through the loot. Even though I'm not going to take it, I just love knowing what players have. And the entrance isn't there. I thought that was actually a truck, but it ended up being the wind. I'm not even sure why I wanted to change the flag. I think it was just because I could. So I did. I had one more area to get through, which was just down here. This first lock took me quite a little while, but the next one didn't take me nearly as long. Once I was in, I had to do what I do best, not only have a snoop through the loot, but complete the veggie delivery. I'd already delivered crates of vegetables and some crates I think had some guns like M4s and stuff. So I decided to also bring in a canopy tent because, you know, why not? It wouldn't fit in this main area, so I had to bring it down the back. And once I had it up, I just wanted to throw in a bit of spare loot that I had and then deliver the last crate. And then this mission was almost done. I forgot that I had the crate there. Just had a blonde moment. And that was it. I'd finally broken through the locks at SNAKESBALLS base and his neighbours, delivered the fruit and veg and loot, and now it's time to say goodbye. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit like and subscribe.